Hello, dear ones. It's me, Shannon Ivey. I am a coach and a creative, and I'm coming to you today because I don't know, I've been thinking of things to tell you, and then all of a sudden I realized that I want to tell you two things. I want to tell you about knowing, and I want to tell you about the stories you carry in your body and how it informs your life by telling you something about me. If you don't know me, or if you do, hang on for this one. Some of this will not be new information. I told myself, I paid for my MFA that's a Master's in Fine Arts. I have a background in acting. True. And I told myself way back when I was a kid, I was such a baby. I was like 22. No offense, 22-year-olds. I went to graduate school for acting right out of undergrad, and I did not have financial support. So I was like, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway because this is what I want to do with my life. We can get into that later. And I was really good at being other people. Yep, hold that one. So I got it paid for, half with assistantships, a teaching assistantship. And then I worked while I was in graduate school. I had lots of different restaurant jobs. I still dream in restaurant. And alone. So for me, a person who never really made more than, I had never made more than $40,000 in my whole life. Honestly, till recently. This is also true. Teachers don't get paid very much, even if you're a professor. That should change. So I told myself in my mind, the story I held was that I would teach theater until I paid off that student loan. Do you know that I held that for 20 years? That commitment to myself for 20 years? Do you know I never missed a payment? I was like on tour. There was a little bit of an unhoused moment. I had the worst divorce ever and no child support, but I did not miss a payment because I am a person who will pay something off and commit. And y'all, I'm thinking about it now that I've created a life that I don't need to escape from, that I love as a coach and a creative. I love it. I'm over here planning the fall. I have so many cool things to share with you. I'm so blessed to be re-signing clients today and welcoming in new clients. And I thought, gosh, if I hadn't held on to that level of commitment to something that maybe wasn't working anymore. It literally was me being a theater professor, was the only thing I could hold on to when what I call the life enema swooped through and changed my whole life. It would not be the only life enema. But at that moment, at the time of the divorce, August 2011, the only thing I could do was hang on to the one piece of identity I had left in my mind about me was that I'd committed a lot of years on this thing, I was a theater professor. You know what? If I were to coach me back then, I would coach me with great compassion. That socializing that I had told myself a story. I'd committed to it because I like being a person who is trustworthy with debt. I don't know. I like to be a person who does what I say I'm going to do. But really, I had invested a lot. So this can show up in people in marriages, relationships, cities, I don't know, name your thing. But the thing under all of that was that I held on, even when the job and I weren't necessarily copacetic. I was a solo mom with a baby, and I moved to the middle of South Carolina. I had no friends. I was starting all over. And honestly, the amount of, I was getting no child support, and just the whole thing was a mess. Did I make something of it? Yes. Because a student noticed that maybe I needed to be asked a few pedagogical questions. Thanks, Travis. And they set me on a path, which then helped me see how I was also stuck in some systems that were not helping me at all. And it was actually decreasing my personal joy and health. Okay. Now, let's talk about knowing. I knew, like I had a TED Talk in 2015 in January, and the thing I love about that was still I'm kind of a stinker. I'm like, why is that rule like that? So I was one of the first people that actually had a bunch of folks on stage with me for the regular TEDx talk time. And if you look me up, then you're going to find the fact that I had my students with me, and Travis is on stage too. So that cohort went with me. So we did that differently. Because that they didn't want me. They wanted all my people with me. Those are my people. So the thing is, right around then, and actually probably a year before, I knew I wasn't going to complete the tenure track. I was a tenure track assistant professor of drama at an HBCU in South Carolina, and there were budget issues, and there was a lot of tension on campus. And I knew, like I was trying to figure it out, but I could not do it. I couldn't figure it out. I literally applied to jobs, oh gosh, probably weekly, if not every day. I joked with a former colleague that that's what I did at night. Like, I can't date. I gotta find another job. And I'm a theater professor. I'm not a theater teacher, so I'm not even trained to do that. So, like, who would want this? Hear the story? Do you hear it? So I held on to that identity so tightly that I only applied over and over for probably 15 years to look for better and better jobs that looked like that. This is what I am, this is what I do well, and this is what I'm looking for. It influenced all of the ways that I looked. I didn't see anything else. It was extremely stressful. I wouldn't put anyone through it. Academics, all of this is kicked up by watching The Chair. Maybe you don't want to watch it, but it brought it all back up. I had also held on to it so tightly that I had squeezed my self-worth, literally my self-worth, into this tiny identity that honestly didn't look like me. Like when I look at all the acting and directing professors, I know some cool people. Y'all are not, I'm not talking about you. I didn't see me. I didn't see a solo parent. I just didn't see me anywhere. And I thought, like, who didn't tell me? Well, I had a bunch of male professors. That's why they didn't tell me. Who didn't tell me that this wasn't going to work long term? They couldn't tell me that. They could do things like pay me $10,000 less than my colleagues with less education and experience than me as we came in. Those colleagues were male. All sorts of things they could tell me. And I'd watch them. And I'd try to fight for justice. Oh, it's very stressful. Very stressful. So I knew that I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew that something was changing. TED Talk, even the same year, there was a big budget cut that came through and 90 people were released from one college, 90 people. And I'm their second full-time theater professor. Y'all, I was not going to be long for this. But after that first wave, I told myself, okay, there's somehow I've done something good. This TED Talk brings us notoriety. It's good stuff. The students are excited. I'm excited. We're doing this new cool work. Y'all, July the 5th. No, it was July the 3rd. July the 3rd, 2015. I come back from something to my little place in Orangeburg. I open up my mailbox and there's my dismissal letter. 4th year tenure track. Life enema number 2. So the thing is, I knew in my body. You want to know the weirdest part of this? Guess when my last student loan payment was? July 2015. I kind of foretold the future. But here's what I wish. You can take that for whatever you mean. Here's what I wish. I wish compassionately for me that I had allowed myself the courage and the support, and I was broke as heck. Oh my gosh. And I didn't know how to do it. But do you know what? I was broke as heck a year and a half ago when I hired a life coach. She's like a business coach. But that was my block. During the time when I had bought a house and my job disappeared in May of 2020, I didn't know what to do. I just wrote an essay about this. If you really want the essay, message me. I'll send it to you. I'm trying to get it published. I didn't know what to do, but I knew, and I had a really smart other creative in a workshop, thanks Andrew, say to me, Shannon, It's like theater is the foot on your neck. And you're so multi-passionate and multi-talented. If you took that word off your neck, what would that be? I would be so curious. Guess what? That made me mad. And I was a little embarrassed because what am I without this 20 years of my life? I'm only mid 40s. Like my whole career, I aimed for this life that I thought would give me creativity and intellectual conversations. And I love students and coaching. Like, I didn't call it coaching till recently. I just love working with people and creating new things together. I just thought that it would love me back. Well, here I am. It's 2021. And because I, even with no job and a new mortgage and a pandemic and a child at home, even though I figured it out and I figured it out, I can show you how to figure it out. Here's the thing, though. I do not know where you're going. So, as a coach, I'm really good at like figuring out what the through line is, what's on your back, what's on your neck, and then I very carefully, sometimes a little bluntly, ask you really good questions. Like, what if we took that word off your neck? Like, what would you be? See, this is why I'm trained. I went and got trained as a coach after I had a good experience with my own, and life is good. And I have figured out how to support myself and my child. And although I am not rich, that's not what I'm aiming for. I'm not scared anymore. That's the best thing. It's best for my health, for my relationships, for my parenting. It's good stuff. So this is my story. And if this resonates with you and you would like to jump on a little call with me, I'd love to talk to you. Coaching with me is really fun. If you like these references, people say, they keep like coming back for more. I don't know. So they say coaching with Shannon is like Fight Club, but with Mary Oliver. So we use a lot of metaphors, but I do ask good questions. Payment plans are available. Come on in and play. I can't wait to see what you are like and what you feel a year from now. Let's go.